Hello, I'm Noah, and this is day 3 of a video every day. And today I want to talk to you about how I relate to feeling hurt. I sat down, I was thinking of what to make a video about. I had an idea, and then I realized I feel a little hurt. And so maybe I should make a video about that. And in making these videos the last 2 days and also a couple last week, most of the comments are really kind and sharing how it's supportive for you, what I'm sharing and how I'm sharing. But there are other comments who commenters or comments that are sharing that they think I'm sick, that I need help, that I've gone backwards, that I'm not logical, that I've gone down a rabbit hole, that I've been influenced, that I'm listening to the devil, I need help, all sorts of different things. And I want to share how I treat that, how I respond to that, how I relate to that, because it's present in me and maybe it's supportive for you. The first thing sometimes I do is I cry. I feel it present in me now. I cry. It hits something in me. Sometimes, maybe I should state that slightly differently. So when these comments are there, I read them. I don't want to run away from them, because if I'm scared to read them, if I'm avoiding reading them, if I'm reading all the comments and as soon as something's negative I avoid it, it means I'm avoiding some feeling in myself. At least that's how I relate to it. I don't want to read it to try to feel pain, but I don't want to run away from anything that's buried inside of me. So when I see a comment that is saying something, let's say negative, sometimes it doesn't hit. Like there's nothing that it activates in me. So no matter how negative it is, it just doesn't impact me. And then there are some comments that do. They hit something in me that's an open wound, something that hasn't been met and seen and dealt with. So, for example, when someone said, I woke up this morning actually to a text message from a friend saying, I saw your videos and I see you're really in need of help and you're looking for help, so here's your help, and stating his perspective about what's wrong with me. So, and I'm laughing now because part of it is painful, like it really hurts and feels sad, and part of it is funny, like what the hell, you know. I spent my childhood, as I think most people did, being told what is true, being told what is okay, what is real, what is the right way, what is the wrong way, what is acceptable, what is not, even telling us what feelings are okay and what's really going on and whatever. And I make it a really important thing in my life to never tell anyone how to do anything, to not tell any of you listeners or watchers how to do anything, how you should live, how you should relate to even your emotions or your thoughts or anything. Like, I want to try to reveal my insight or my opening, and then you just take it or leave it if it resonates or not. Nothing is right or wrong. So when someone tells me what's going on inside of me or that I need help, there's a part of me that just takes their opinion as truth. Because that's how we're wired. When we're born, when we're a baby, we don't know how to operate in this world. We need to listen to our parents, our teachers, our caretakers to give us guidance on how to live, how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, how to cook, how to whatever, every little thing. We need to take others' opinions as truth, others' perspective, others' ways of doing things as truth, so that we can live, so we can survive, so we can function. And there's still remnants of that old program in me. So when someone says something to me, positive or negative, sometimes I still just automatically take it as true. Like, so if they say I need help, it hits this part of me. Maybe I do need help. And then I maybe feel that for a moment, which I did. And then I ask myself genuinely, right? But maybe before I go to the ask myself genuinely, the first thing I want to do when someone says something negative, a judgment, disrespectful, unkind, the first thing I want to do is check in with myself. How do I feel? What does it do in my body? How do I feel in my chest, in my stomach, in my throat, in my face? And sometimes that means I cry, sometimes I feel nothing, sometimes I feel fear, sometimes whatever. But particularly when people, with the comments I've seen the last couple of days, a couple times I just have a cry. And that might be 1 second dry cry. It might be 30 seconds. None of them have hit me so hard that it's more than that, but it could be. In the past, sometimes it would be longer. And then after I feel it, right, it's so important to feel it, then I check in with myself. Do I believe it? Right? Like, is it true? Are these videos a call for help? Like, do I need help? Am I disturbed? And I checked in with myself, like, why did that hook me? Why did that catch me? Why did that trigger hurt in me? Why did that make me feel like, yeah, I'm screwed up, I need help? And then the first thing that came to me was this image of when I was roughly 11, my mom sent me to therapy. I was quite wild and didn't listen to the rules and talked back to my mom all the time, and she's like, you need help. And she sent me to therapy. I didn't get a say. She didn't ask me, do I need help? She didn't ask me, like, what are my emotions? Maybe she did, but I don't have any memory of that. It was told, you're screwed up. You need help. And I went to therapy, maybe just a few sessions, and he said, there's nothing wrong with me. You can go. I think it's the only therapist in the world that ever said that, even though I had so much buried pain that I didn't know in the moment. But it stuck with me. It hit me in a way that I didn't realize, that my mom put onto me like a brainwashing or an imprint. You need help. There's something wrong with you. And it was inside of me. So when these people share, you need help, first I feel that pain. I let it out. I cry. Or maybe I shake, or maybe I just let out a breath, like let it release that sadness, release that hurt, that inferiority, that defectiveness by like an out breath like this. And I like imagine it or feel it, the density pouring out through my breath. And then I look at what created it, where did it come from, and I see this story, and then I could relate to it in many different ways. In this case, just seeing it was enough. Just seeing that I took on my mom's perspective. And it wasn't my truth. That the truth is I did need help, but not the way, the energy and the way that she shared it. I would have loved to share my emotions and to let it out and to get support, but I didn't have access to that. And so when it seems that when she told me you need help, it was not done in the way like you need help, maybe compassionately, like I want to help you. It's more like you're screwed up, you're ruining my life, you're getting in trouble, you're an embarrassment, like you need help in that sense. And it feels like when the messages that I've received that say you need help are in that energy, not like, do you want help? Can I help you? Is there something you're struggling with? They're like, you need help. You're screwed up. So then I let it go. I tell the inner child, I tell that little boy, like, I'm here for you. I see you. And let him share. Let him share what's going on, what he feels. And then it just lightens. And so when I receive judgments and negativity and disrespect and like people trying to tell me what is the truth about my experience, it's really important to stay close to myself. Like it can be, there's so many ways that you can automatically relate to it. So I mentioned one is it triggers the hurt. Two is you can avoid it and run away from it. Three is it can confuse us, right? Like I said before, when you take other people's perspective as truth. So I want to stay close to myself when people project this onto me. But at the same time, I want to be open to what they're saying. So what's my truth and what's their truth? So maybe I come into this thinking, no, I'm not sharing this because I need help. I'm just expressing emotion. But maybe I'm not seeing something clearly. So I want to stay open to the other person while also feeling what is really deeply my truth. And my truth is that I'm not sharing this as a call for help, or that my emotions don't signify that I need help. And it makes me really sad when I read these comments. Now that I see it more clearly, I feel the sadness and the pain of how I used to relate to emotions. So when someone sees me sharing emotion and they say I need help, like I'm screwed up, that means they're saying emotions are screwed up. Like emotions are a sign of defectiveness. Like emotions are a sign of you've strayed from the path, or something along these lines. You're confused. And that's a really painful way to relate to emotions. I used to relate to emotions that way. I used to see when someone else was expressing emotion, pain, sadness, hurt, fear, I'd be like, oh man, like sorry for them. They're screwed up. They're confused. They're believing their thoughts. And I don't see it that way anymore. Emotions are what they are, experiences, and it's really important to treat our emotions, to treat my hurt, to come back to the subject of this video, it seems, to treat my hurt with love and respect, with kindness. So when I feel hurt, when hurt gets triggered in me, to acknowledge it, to not make it wrong or bad, because as soon as I make it wrong or bad, I'm pushing part of it down, which means I can't let go of it, which means it's a barrier between me and life, between me and connection, between me and everything, between me and my truth. So when I feel hurt, it's not that the hurt is true. It's not that the hurt is reality in a sense. The hurt is pain, and that's an experience in reality, but what's creating it is just a remnant from the past. And I need to be kind to that remnant and allow that remnant to move through with openness, softness, gentleness, patience, and wisdom, with the discernment of, okay, I don't need to identify with it, feed it, tell stories about it, or blame someone else they're bad for saying these negative things to me. Like, when I meet my hurt, when I meet my triggered hurt with openness, compassion, wisdom, and discernment, then I'm really grateful that this showed up, that this person in front of me shared this message with me. I'm grateful to myself as opposed to them, because they shared disrespect, projection, their own pain, and put it onto me. But how I meet that ends up being a gift. How I meet that ends up being really supportive and helpful for me. So that doesn't mean you ask for judgments and ask for disrespect. If someone's treating me that way, I tell them, don't do that. I don't deserve it. But in the context of this YouTube thing, I'm open to receiving comments. Like, I prefer always, maybe I'll say this, I mentioned in the last video or the one before that I'm not interested in your judgments, but I am interested in you sharing your experience. Like, what does it bring up for you? Like, if I'm sharing pain or emotion or hurt or something, what does it bring up in you? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Does it make you feel like it's unacceptable if you were to do that? Like, if you notice you're saying something about me, that you're saying I'm bad, or I need help, or I'm screwed up, or I'm illogical, see if you can flip that onto yourself. Like, I'm being illogical if I have emotion. I'm being weak if I have emotion. The only time I express emotion is if I'm really in need of help. You know, let's all try to keep our experience close to ourselves and take responsibility for it. So I'm trying to do that as well. So when I feel hurt, I don't want to lash out and say, you're bad for doing this. You're bad for speaking this. I want to take responsibility for my hurt, which is just a trigger from my past. And then speaking to the people who speak these things, I understand you're doing it from maybe concern, from care, from your own experience, from your programming, from how you relate to emotions, which is all acceptable and okay, right? But be aware of what you put on to someone else. Be aware of what is your experience and what is a projection of someone else's experience. Because I don't know what your experience is. I'm making things up, maybe because this, maybe because that, but I don't know. I don't know. So, let's see if there's anything else I want to share about how I relate to hurt. Sometimes, you know, in relating to emotion and relating to feeling hurt, there is often a barrier that feeling hurt is bad, it's negative, it's painful, it's shitty, it's something you should avoid. Like, all of those thoughts and stories and preconceived ideas about the feeling of hurt get in the way of actually experiencing the hurt. Like, when you just experience hurt straight up, no stories about it, it's soft, it's emotional, maybe it's even sharp, but in the sharpness, there's compassion, there's love in there. What matters most in our emotions is how we relate to them. Not what emotion arises, but how we relate to it. So it's okay to feel the hurt. It can be beautiful to feel the hurt. And it's about finding the balance or finding your own intuitive way of doing things, of feeling it, allowing yourself to feel it, and at the same time having the wisdom and discernment and connection to this moment that, like, what's creating it might not be here now, might be a projection, might have been imprinted on you, might have been a false conclusion from the past, might have served you in the past but no longer does, or whatever. And so these two things aren't in conflict or non-accordance with each other. We can allow and express an emotion, and we can check in with what is really true and what is really serving. And I find most people get caught in really doing one or the other when they can really complement each other beautifully, from my experience, as well as many other ways of relating to emotion that maybe I'll talk about at some other point. So that feels like all I'm going to say. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye.